All right, everyone, Dan here, SPG1 Tactical. I'm here with Dave from Modtac, and we're here at the Sons of Liberty booth, and they had something really cool to kind of show us here. I was just turned on to this, and it's definitely something that I'm looking at because I like to run suppressed, whether it's my precision gun or it's my carbine, hell, even my 22s. I like suppression.
Of course.
I like my eardrums, and I like things that are quiet. But you've got a really cool product here that is I don't want to say game changer. That's a cliche marketing thing, but it's significantly different than most other suppressor covers I've seen on the market. So just let's start off with what's the philosophy here? What is the idea behind this product?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is our carbon fiber M-LOK mounted suppressor shield. And so it's a lightweight, high temp carbon fiber resin that mounts to the end of your rail via a couple different means. This is our M-LOK mounted one, and you mount the female coupler on there, and that holds and has a twist lock connection for the carbon fiber suppressor shield.
And even though this is twist lock, it's on there pretty securely. It's not going to back off.
Absolutely,
basically.
right. So there's a spring in there that
right.
creates 34 pounds of pressure holding that thing in place.
And this thing's been cyclically tested on like fully automatic rifles, right? So
absolutely.
Okay. Fantastic.
Yep, so the benefits of something like this over a fabric wrap would be mirage mitigation and burn protection is huge. That's why we basically created it, is to defeat mirage on precision guns and keep you from burning yourself on gas guns when you're transitioning or you're jumping into a car, got to throw your gun in the trunk or whatever. What is different is the air gap that's around the suppressor allows that suppressor to breathe and cool off. So you're not trapping the heat inside there, which ultimately leads to
You're not putting bacon on the suppressor.
Right, exactly, yep.
Okay. And I think your buddy Sam was saying also, something I hadn't thought about, I'm a big dog person. I've got a working dog. And being able to protect your canine as well, like if you're on like a SWAT team or an entry team or something, you know, not putting your barrel down and accidentally making your dog yelp and brand your dog.
Yeah, exactly. We all know somebody that's burned a hole in their crye pants or their cool guy jeans.
Yes, exactly.
Yep. But also, with those canines, anytime you stick that hot muzzle, that forbidden popsicle down by your side, you definitely don't want to burn your canine.
Right. Okay, so and for clarification, so you've got this style which is on the M-LOK, and this is specific, and this particular one, to the Sun's upper, but it's also available in other manufacturers as well, right? Because it's specific based off of the inner diameter.
Exactly, yep. So the hardware that we use is a steel tab that goes on the inside of the rail, and it's mounted in place by either a pick rail or a low pro plate. Okay. And we make that hardware specific to each manufacturer's rail. So whether it's Geisley or SIG or Daniel Defense or Sons, we make these specific for the rail. Now the cool thing about the MRACs is if you have a light mount that you want to put on here, you can remove this plate, and these two screws are set up at the proper spacing for two M-LOK slots, or for two M-LOK screws. Okay. So if you want to put a light mount, you can actually screw right into our mounting hardware, so you're not wasting or using up that rail space.
So you're still getting the good rail space, and you're not creating extra bulk with the Picatinny if it's not warranted or not required.
Yep, exactly.
Okay. So I think like the Arisakas and stuff like that, those will fit right on there.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, Surefire, Cloud Defense, any of the standard light mounts.
And the profile seems, I mean, obviously it's a little bit larger outer diameter, but you've made the mount so that it's not obtrusive. Like we've still got a maul on here that's pushing past the rail.
Yep, exactly.
So you can fit, in theory, lights and lasers and stuff still beyond the end of that rail.
Yeah, exactly. So for standard AR-15s, which have the lowest rail height compared to AR-10s, MCXs, whatnot, it'll clear a maul head, it'll clear the emitters on an end-gall, on a PEC, on a D-ball, any of the standard lasers. Okay. It's not going to interfere with the top.
Fantastic. Before we move on to the URAC and the other one, we were talking about specifically how this functions with the cooling on the bottom. So if I just pull that off for a second. So as we said, heat rises.
Yep.
So at first you would think it's getting all trapped, but you've actually created almost like a heat transfer or like a cooling system that's bringing in the cool air from the bottom to kind of cycle that air out, right?
Yeah, exactly. So as your suppressor warms up, that hot air is going to build up around the top of the suppressor. And what that's going to do is it's going to vent out the end, both backwards and forwards. While that hot air vents out, because the vents are pointed down, it's going to allow cool air to come back in. So you're not trapping stagnant air in there, you're allowing it to breathe and cool down. So that results in about a third of the cool down time compared to a textile wrap.
Now, I don't know if it was you or Sam talking to me, but you had something about like up to a 60% reduction in temperature.
Yes, absolutely. So we have rated all of our shields up to a 1200 degree suppressor temperature.
Which is fairly warm, you could say.
Yep. And up to that 1200 degree point, what you're going to see is a 60% reduction. So measuring the surface temperature of the suppressor versus the surface temperature of the outside of the shield, you subtract ambient temperature and you're going to get a 60% reduction. So if you've got a 1000 degree can, this is going to be under 400 degrees and it's still safe to touch intermittently and definitely safe when you transition. You're not going to burn a hole through your pants.
Fantastic. All right, so this is the MRAC.
Correct.
All right, and then over here we've got the URAC. Right?
Yes. So, as I said before, the M-LOK mounted shields are specific for each individual manufacturer's rail. But what we did is we have the universal rail attached coupler. So this attaches via the top Picatinny rail. It has the same exact twist
function.
Yep, function there. And this just clamps onto 3 slots of your top pick rail because that's a standard in the industry. So as long as you've got a pick rail out on the end of your gun, you're good to go. We also make these in AR-10, 416, and MCX and MPX heights.
All right, fantastic, fantastic. And I think Sam was saying this cover can actually be taken off and you can interface it with something like the sights of somebody.
Yep, exactly. So if you want to run backup sights, you don't have to push them back and take up more rail space. You can take this plate off and drop in a Unity Fusion.
A Unity Fusion, that's what it was.
Yep.
Unity. They make some good stuff too.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic.
So you can still integrate front sights into the URAC.
Yep.
So the MRAC, the URAC.
Yep.
Okay. And this only takes up the top Picatinny, and this is based off of Picatinny height on a specific manufacturer. Okay.
This is a standard in the industry. So
the 3s.
Yep. So any standard height AR-15 rail. So whether it's Arrow or Daniel Defense or anybody in between, you're going to be able to mount this out on the end of your rail.
Okay. Fantastic. And then I think we got one more over here.
Yep. So this is our newest product this year for SHOT Show. This is the PRSS, or the Precision Rifle Suppressor Shield.
Okay.
So this is the same disconnect coupler, same exact coupler actually that we use on the MRAC.
Okay.
But we have this set up to clamp onto the barrel about 1 inch behind your muzzle brake. You torque it down just like you would a set of scope rings.
Okay.
And it comes on and off, and it's free floating out over the suppressor.
Okay. And so this is meant for more like the PRSS stuff, like PRS, hence the name.
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
So if you've got a longer bolt gun with a 20-inch barrel or 26-inch barrel where you don't have a forearm or a chassis to connect to, then this is a great option to still reduce mirage.
Now, coming from a precision world, I would assume that this is going to affect barrel harmonics at least a little bit, so you're going to have to if you were to put this on, you'd have to re-get your dope.
So I'm going to disagree with you there.
Okay.
So coming from a sniper and a precision shooter myself, what harmonics does is as the powder explodes, it's going to send a shockwave and a vibration through the gun.
Right.
That oscillating movement is what we see with harmonics. Data has proven that the bullet is going to exit the barrel before it even reaches that first peak of the sine wave.
Okay.
And so what you're going to see in this is barrel droop, which is the same as adding weight to your suppressor. Okay. And so that may instigate your barrel to dip down a little bit more, and that'll change your zero. But just like you would re-zero with a suppressor on, you would re-zero with this, and you're good to go. We've done hundreds of rounds of testing on multiple different barrel profiles, barrel lengths, calibers, and we have not seen any POI shift, and we've not seen any less precision.
Well, that's important information for all the PRS shooters out there that might be wondering the same thing I was. So
yep, exactly.
That is very good knowledge to have. All right, let's talk about lengths. What are we available in?
Yep, so we make our standard size tubes in lengths of 5 inches up to 9.5 is what we stock.
5 to 9.5.
Yep.
Okay. And
so,
increments of ½ inch.
In increments of ½ inch. So if you're running a 5.56K can like a Flow K or a Sandman S, then you're going to want probably a 5.5 or a 6 inch. We sell more 6 inch than any other can. But if you're running an Ultra 9 from Thunder Beast, then you can get that 9 or that 9.5 inch shield.
Okay, fantastic. So just to reiterate, we have MRAC, URAC, and PRSS.
Yep, Precision Rifle Suppressor Shield. Yep.
PRSS, okay. So MRAC, URAC, PRSS. Carbon fiber, heat transfer through the bottom, keeps your mirage down, keeps your heat down, saves your legs, crye pants,
yep.
K9s and all that good stuff. Is there anything else we're missing? Anything else?
I think that pretty much covers it.
What about MSRP?
MSRP is $339 across all 3 models. The PRSS is a brand new product this year, and it's on sale right now. We're also running a SHOT Show discount, so if you come find us at SHOT Show, then grab a business card and get a discount for 24% off.
24% off, if you're here.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, sounds like a really good product. I'm definitely going to be taking a look at one of these. Dave, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, sir.
Everyone else, stay safe, stay smart, and stay tactical, my friends.